Chosen one, hear this with your spirit. Wide awake. You are not here by accident. You did not stumble onto this message by chance. This moment was written into your timeline by the hand of God Himself. Heaven has orchestrated your steps, aligned your spirit, and drawn you here because something massive is shifting in your life. You are standing at the very edge of a supernatural breakthrough, a divine wealth transfer, a heaven-sent elevation that will rewrite your future. The atmosphere around you is changing. The ground beneath you is vibrating with destiny. And the Most High is whispering, pay attention, anointed one, your season is turning. This is not ordinary inspiration. This is a prophetic summons. The same God who declares in Habakkuk 2:3 that appointed visions will not fail is now confirming that your appointed moment has arrived. The delay is breaking. The promise is waking. The blessing is moving. Chosen one, breathe in this truth. God is warning you, preparing you, and positioning you for a billionaire shift that will shock the very people who doubted you. What you are about to hear will activate something deep within your spirit. So open your heart, quiet your mind, and step into the revelation. Heaven has prepared for you, chosen one. Heaven has had its eyes on you for far longer than you realize, watching every moment you kept standing, when everything around you tried to push you to your knees. I feel this in my own spirit because I've lived through those silent battles too, the ones no one celebrates, the ones where you show up anyway with a trembling heart and a tired soul. And somehow God still whispers, keep going. You have walked through seasons that should have broken you, yet here you are carrying a strength you didn't even know you possessed. That is the first sign that a divine shift is already unfolding. When God prepares an anointed one for a supernatural elevation, the preparation rarely looks glamorous. It looks like endurance, like resilience, like surviving storms you never asked for. And yet, through every valley, every tear, every night of questioning, heaven was recording your faithfulness. That is why this moment matters so deeply, because you are standing on the edge of something only God could orchestrate. This shift coming your way is not just financial. It is spiritual authority rising. It is clarity returning. It is destiny beginning to speak louder than your fears. I have felt such shifts in my own journey, moments where I didn't see the breakthrough yet, but I could feel the air changing, the way the atmosphere almost vibrated with a sense of something is coming. Chosen one, that is what surrounds you now. You may not see all the evidence yet, but the alignment has already begun. When God decides the season of struggle is over, nothing can hold it in place one moment longer. You need to know that this shift is not random. You are here because heaven appointed this moment. There are times in life when you don't choose the message chooses you. And this word has chosen you. I can sense that heaven is pushing you into a new mindset, rewiring your faith, stretching your vision beyond survival and into purpose. You have carried dreams that look too big, visions you try to bury because life taught you to settle, but chosen souls never truly settle. Something inside them refuses to die. Something inside them keeps whispering there is more. And there is. The dreams you abandoned are still alive. God didn't place them in you to torment you. He placed them because they are part of who you were designed to become. I've had dreams that seemed impossible too, and every time I tried to silence them, they returned stronger, louder, clearer, because heaven refuses to let you forget what you were born to Walk in, chosen one. This billionaire shift is not about chasing anything. It is about becoming someone, a person who understands that divine abundance flows not from effort alone, but from alignment. The world teaches you to struggle for every inch to grind until your worth disappears. But God's economy moves differently. When heaven opens a door, no human system can close it. When God releases favor, it bypasses logic. I've seen unexpected resources appear. When I had nothing left, I've seen connections form that made no sense on paper. I've watched God turn scarcity into overflow in ways that humbled me to my core. That's why I can tell you with full confidence what's coming for you will not make sense to natural eyes. It is supernatural by design. This shift begins inside you before it manifests around you. God is recalibrating your identity. He is breaking the old narratives you believed about yourself. You have lived too long thinking small, apologizing for your calling, shrinking to make others comfortable. That ends now. Heaven is calling you to rise. Heaven is reminding you who you are a vessel of divine potential, a chosen carrier of influence, a soul marked for impact. The visions you carry are not accidents. The fire in your spirit is not random. You were created to build, to lead, to transform atmospheres just by showing up as who God made you to be. I know what it feels like to second guess your own greatness, to wonder if you're reaching too far, too high, too boldly. But I also know the feeling when God interrupts your doubt with a quiet but unmistakable certainty. I made you for this anointed one. The resources assigned to your purpose are already moving. The alignment has already begun. Things you thought were delays were actually divine positioning. People who walked away created space for heaven, sent in partnerships, closed doors, redirected you toward your true path. Every disappointment was a hidden instruction, teaching you to listen, teaching you to discern, teaching you to depend on something higher than your own strength. Now the wind is shifting. Now the heavens are stirring. You are not stepping into a season. You are stepping into a mandate. This billionaire shift carries weight because you were never meant to receive for yourself alone. You were meant to become a conduit, a catalyst, a living demonstration that when God lifts someone, the elevation is undeniable. Chosen one, breathe this in. Heaven is not suggesting you rise. Heaven is commanding it. The ground beneath you is trembling with possibility, and all of it is pointing to one truth. You are ready for what is coming next. And this is where we go deeper. Chosen one, as we continue, I need you to understand something deep in your spirit. Divine elevation never arrives quietly. It does not slip into your life unnoticed or timid. It comes with a stirring, a disruption, in the spiritual atmosphere that your soul feels before your mind can explain. You may have sensed it already. A restlessness, a holy discomfort, a pull towards something greater. That is heaven preparing you for supernatural alignment. I've experienced those seasons myself where everything familiar suddenly feels too small, where the old ways no longer fit who I am becoming. At first it feels unsettling, almost like you're being pushed out of your own comfort. But with time you realize it is God enlarging your capacity, making room for a level of abundance your old mindset could never carry. That same enlargement is happening in you now. When heaven chooses an anointed one for a wealth shift, the transformation begins. Internally, it looks like new clarity rising where confusion once lived. It looks like new strength appearing in places where you once felt weak. It looks like a hunger For purpose, a longing for meaning. A, dissatisfaction with anything less than. The fullness of what God promised you. I've watched God do this repeatedly, both in my own journey and in the lives of people destined for greatness. Before the blessing comes the awakening. Before the overflow comes the stretching. And chosen souls always feel it first in their spirit. Something inside begins to whisper. Prepare yourself. Your life is about to change. Chosen one, that whisper is in you now. And it is not your imagination. It is heaven speaking. You must realize that divine timing is never accidental. God aligns seasons, moments, and instructions with perfect precision. The fact that you are hearing this right now is not random, it is alignment. I remember a moment in my own life when everything seemed stagnant. I was praying for direction, hoping for breakthrough, and feeling unsure if God even heard me. Then the exact moment I needed clarity, God sent a word that repositioned my entire life. Not 1 second late, not 1 moment early. When heaven moves, it moves with accuracy. This right now is your accuracy moment. You are not late. You are not behind. You are exactly where heaven needs you to be for this shift to unfold. Chosen one, it's time to stop seeing yourself through the eyes of your past. The struggles you survived were not punishments. They were preparation. Every valley strengthened you. Every disappointment refined you. Every loss stripped away what could not go with you into your next season. I know this because I've walked through seasons where I thought everything was falling apart, only to realize later that God was rearranging everything so it could fall into place. You are stepping into a realm where your past cannot speak for you anymore. Your divine identity is taking the lead now. That identity carries authority, purpose, and a calling that cannot be silenced. This billionaire shift is not about luxury. It is about legacy. It is about stepping into the kind of influence that shapes destinies, restores families, and impacts generations. And that kind of influence requires spiritual maturity, emotional resilience, and a heart aligned with heaven's agenda. I know what it means to be shaped by fire. I know what it means to stand when standing feels impossible. But I also know what happens when God breathes on a life that refused to quit. Suddenly, everything accelerates. Opportunities appear. Resources flow. Doors open that were once locked. That same breath is about to touch your life. And when it does, the shift will be undeniable. Anointed one, pay attention to how your spirit is responding right now. Something inside you is rising. Something inside you is remembering. Something inside you is awakening to the truth that you were never meant for an ordinary life. You were crafted for abundance, for purpose, for divine impact. And that requires you to embrace a new level of faith. Not faith that begs, but faith that expects. Faith that stands tall. Faith that says, if God is leading me into this, then I am already equipped. Chosen one, everything you need for this next season is being gathered around you. People, resources, opportunities, clarity. It's all aligning. Heaven is not preparing you for a small shift. Heaven is preparing you for a supernatural repositioning. And as we move forward, the revelation will go deeper and the instructions will become clearer. Your next level is calling, and this is only the beginning. Chosen one. As we move deeper into this revelation, I need you to understand that every divine shift begins with a spiritual announcement long before the physical evidence shows up. Heaven always speaks first. The Spirit always stirs first. Something invisible, Ways shifts before anything visible changes. If you've been feeling a strange pressure in your life lately, a sense of stretching, a sense of being, pulled forward, a sense of being, separated from old environments, old habits, even old relationships, this is not random discomfort. This is spiritual labor. This is the sound of destiny breaking open. This is heaven preparing you to carry what you once prayed for. I have walked through these moments myself, moments where I didn't fully understand what God was doing, but I could feel that something in my spirit was preparing for expansion. Whenever God begins to increase an anointed one, He first increases their awareness. You start noticing things you used to overlook. You start questioning things you used to accept. You start craving silence, clarity, truth, alignment. What once satisfied you suddenly feels too small. What once entertained you now distracts you. That is how God signals growth, chosen one. Your spirit is outgrowing certain spaces because your destiny is outgrowing them. You cannot carry the mantle God is placing on you while standing in the version of yourself that was shaped by survival. You are being stretched into someone new, someone bolder, someone wiser, someone more spiritually attuned, someone who understands wealth not as possession but as assignment. There were seasons in my own life when I wondered why certain people drifted away or why old opportunities shut down. Later I understood elevation requires separation. God will not allow anything that threatens your next level to remain attached to you. Not because He's punishing you, but because He's protecting you. And this protection is part of your preparation for the billionaire shift now unfolding over your life. You must realize something powerful here. God is not simply blessing you. He is positioning you. Wealth without assignment collapses. Influence without character destroys. Prosperity without purpose becomes empty. That is why the shift taking place inside you is just as important as the shift about to take place around you. God is forming the kind of foundation that can carry abundance without cracking under its weight. Many people pray for elevation, but they do not pray for capacity. You chosen one are being given both. Capacity is built through pressure, through patience, through perseverance. I know you have felt moments of heaviness recently, moments where it seemed like everything was demanding more of you than you felt you had. But this was not to break you, it was to enlarge you. You are spiritually taller now. You are emotionally deeper now. You are mentally sharper now. And this new version of you is capable of sustaining the wealth and influence God is releasing. The billionaire shift is not merely a prophetic phrase. It is a spiritual repositioning desi into elevate you into environments where your presence carries weight. Imagine waking up with clarity about your next step, with opportunities arriving that align perfectly with your purpose. Imagine being trusted with ideas that shape industries, with resources that enable you to build what once felt impossible. This is where God is taking you. And you must trust that the journey, every valley, every storm, every silence was necessary preparation for the level you're now stepping into. I've learned through my own walk that God never wastes pain. He never wastes waiting. He never wastes obedience. Every sacrifice becomes a seed. Every tear becomes an investment. Every moment of faithfulness becomes a door. And those doors are opening for you now. Anointed one, I need you to pay close attention to what is happening around you in this season. You may notice new connections entering your life. People who speak your language, people who recognize your potential even when you're quiet about it. People who carry keys to rooms you once dreamt of entering. These connections are not coincidences, they are divine appointments. You may also feel drawn away from noise, distractions, or environments that once felt comfortable. That is because your spirit is tuning itself to a higher frequency. When heaven is preparing a person for influence, he shifts their appetite. You start craving wisdom. You start craving peace. You start craving truth. You start losing tolerance for anything that pulls you out of alignment. This is how you know the transformation is real. Your spirit begins to desire what your destiny requires. Chosen one, the universe is not working against you. It is rearranging itself around you. The old doors are closing because new ones must open. The old relationships fade because new alliances must form. The old mindset dissolves because new understanding must emerge. You are not losing, you are transitioning. You are not being abandoned, you are being upgraded. You are not being isolated, you are being sanctified for something greater. And this greater is closer than you think. As we move further, prepare yourself. Heaven is not finished speaking yet. Chosen one. As we continue deeper into this prophetic unfolding, you must understand that every great elevation requires a shift in how you see yourself. Before God changes your surroundings, He changes your self-perception. Before He releases abundance into your hands, He strengthens the hands that will carry it. Before He places you before nations, He teaches you to stand before Him. I have learned through my own walk that destiny always begins with identity. When you finally see yourself the way heaven sees you, everything else begins to align. And this is exactly where you are right. Now, standing in the tension between who you were and how you are becoming that. Tension is not a sign of confusion. It is a sign of transformation. It means heaven is working on you from the inside out. You may have noticed lately that your spirit is restless in places where you once felt comfortable. That is because the version of you connected to survival is dissolving, and the version of you connected to purpose is emerging. You can feel it every time you sense that certain conversations drain you, certain relationships no longer resonate with you, or certain environments feel too small for the calling God has placed in you. These experiences are not signs that something is wrong. They are signs that something is shifting. I've been in those seasons where everything familiar feels foreign, where the old rhythms no longer match the pace of my spirit, and where I can sense that God is calling me out of the shallow and into the deep. It's uncomfortable at first, but eventually you realize that discomfort is simply destiny rearranging your life. Chosen one, the billionaire shift God is activating within you is not just about positioning you externally, but also about elevating you internally. Heaven is expanding your mindset, stretching your capacity to believe, enlarging your understanding of what is possible. You may not recognize it yet, but you're thinking differently. You're expecting differently. You're praying differently. You're dreaming differently. These are signs of spiritual maturation. The old version of you fought merely to survive. The emerging version of you is learning to rule, to build, to steward, to influence. Divine wealth is not given to those who chase it, but to those who are ready to manage it. That readiness comes through mind renewal, through spiritual intimacy, through trusting God even When the path is unclear, there was a season in my own life where everything seemed paused, as though heaven had placed me in divine waiting. I didn't understand why certain opportunities were withheld or why certain prayers felt unanswered. But with time I realized that God was not delaying my breakthrough. He was shaping my character to match my calling. Elevation without preparation leads to collapse, and God refuses to let you collapse under the weight of what He is giving you. The stretching you're experiencing is intentional. The silence you're facing is instructive. The pruning around you is protective. And all of it is evidence that heaven is preparing you for something larger than your past, larger than your fear, and larger than your imagination. Anointed one, hear this. Divine wealth always follows divine wisdom. God is not only releasing resources into your life, He is releasing clarity, strategy, and discernment. You're beginning to sense things before they happen, see through situations more quickly, and recognize spiritual truth that once seemed hidden. This is the prophetic sharpening that comes before financial elevation. When God increases your influence, He first increases your insight. I've seen this pattern in my own journey. Moments where I felt I knew things I had never learned. Moments when decisions became clearer, and moments when opportunities aligned effortlessly. Those moments were not random. They were divine instructions wrapped in intuition, chosen. One heaven is making you sensitive to alignment. There are doors that look like blessings but are actually distractions, and God is teaching you to discern the difference. There are people who speak to your emotions but not your destiny, and God is giving you courage to release them. There are opportunities that come dressed in urgency but lack divine timing, and God is training your spirit to wait. This season is not just about receiving, it's about recognizing what is truly yours. You're being refined into someone who no longer reacts but responds, someone who is not driven by fear but by purpose, someone who does not chase outcomes but follows divine alignment. This shift will demand that you trust God with a deeper level of surrender, and surrender is not weakness, it is wisdom. When you stop forcing outcomes, you make room for miracles. When you stop trying to control everything, you experience the supernatural. When you release what you cannot carry, God fills your hands with what was always meant for you. This kind of surrender is not passive, it is powerful. It says, God, I choose alignment over anxiety. I choose wisdom over worry. I choose destiny over comfort. Anointed one, you are being prepared for influence, for impact, for a legacy that stretches beyond your lifetime. This billionaire shift is not temporary success, it is generational transformation. And the deeper we go, the clearer you will see that heaven has been preparing you for this all along, chosen one. As we continue forward, you must understand something essential about this season. When heaven initiates a divine elevation, your life begins to break away from patterns that once defined you. The shift you are experiencing is not just an upgrade, it is a complete spiritual recalibration. Something in your spirit is shedding old beliefs, old limitations, old fears, and stepping into a new frequency of identity and destiny. I have lived through moments like this myself. Moments when I felt as though God was rewriting my inner blueprint. It didn't always make sense, but it always left me stronger, clearer, and more aligned with who I was meant to be. You are going through that kind of spiritual rewiring. Right now, God is stripping away the residue of your past so you can walk into your future unburdened. You may notice that your desires are changing. What you used to crave no longer satisfies you. The places where you once sought validation no longer carry meaning. Even your ambitions are shifting, not because you're losing interest, but because God is elevating your vision. He is turning your focus from temporary pursuits to eternal impact. The billionaire shift you are stepping into is not about material acquisition, it is about spiritual authority. When God blesses an anointed one, He blesses them to become a blessing. He positions them not just to rise, but to lift others. You are being prepared to influence systems, reshape environments, and carry out assignments that require both humility and boldness. That kind of calling demands inner transformation, and that is exactly what heaven is completing in you. Chosen one destiny always comes with a demand. There will be moments when God asks you to release what feels familiar so you can receive what is truly yours. I've had to walk away from things that once felt secure, not because they were bad, but because they were beneath the version of myself God was calling me into. Growth requires departure. Elevation requires separation. And though the process can feel painful, the reward is incomparable. Every time God removes something from my life, He replaced it with something exponentially better. You are stepping into that kind of divine exchange, a season where everything lost will be restored in multiplied form. You may also notice that your discernment is intensifying. Situations that once confused you now feel transparent. People's intentions are becoming clearer. Opportunities that once looked appealing now reveal their emptiness. This clarity is not accidental. It is God training your spiritual eyesight. When a chosen soul is about to enter a realm of influence, heaven sharpens their intuition. You are learning to recognize the difference between what is good and what is aligned, between what is attractive and what is anointed, between what is urgent and what is ordained. This kind of discernment will protect your future wealth, your future partnerships, and your future purpose. Anointed one, the shift taking place is not just spiritual, it is emotional as well. God is healing the wounds that once shaped your decisions, the feelings of unworthiness, the echoes of past rejection, the scars of betrayal. These are losing their grip on you. I've gone through seasons where God forced me to confront things I tried to avoid, not to shame me, but to free me. You might be in that same season now. Healing always precedes promotion. Before God places abundance in your hands, He removes the weights that made you feel undeserving. Before He multiplies what you carry, He heals the parts of you that were broken by what you survived. Joy is returning to your spirit. Confidence is returning to your voice. Strength is returning to your posture. This is emotional resurrection, and it is part of the preparation for your billionaire shift. Chosen one, do not be surprised if God isolates you in this season. Isolation is not abandonment, it is consecration. When God prepares someone for greatness, He removes the noise so they can hear Him clearly. I spent seasons where it felt like heaven was silent, people were distant, and progress was invisible. But in those seasons, God was shaping me, detoxing my mind from distractions and teaching me to depend on His voice alone. Isolation is where foundations are formed. It is where vision becomes clear. It is where strength is built. And for someone like you, chosen for Extraordinary influence, isolation is A. Sign that God is near, not far, as this. Shift deepens, expect your creativity to expand. Expect new ideas to flow. Expect divine strategies to emerge in moments you least expect. This is heaven downloading instructions into your spirit. I've had ideas come to me in moments of quiet that later became life-changing breakthroughs. When God is preparing you for abundance, He first strengthens the ideas that will produce it. You are entering a season where inspiration will come effortlessly, where opportunities will begin to align, and where doors that once remained closed will open with ease. This is not coincidence. It is divine orchestration. Anointed one, the tension you feel is the stretching of destiny. The restlessness you sense is the awakening of purpose. The clarity you are receiving is the signature of a heaven-backed wealth shift beginning to manifest around you. And as we continue, this revelation will only grow deeper, preparing you for everything God is releasing into your life, chosen one. As we continue into this next phase of the revelation, I need you to understand that the spiritual realm responds to alignment long before it responds to action. What is happening around you right now is not random turbulence or emotional fluctuation. It is spiritual synchronization. Heaven is rearranging the structures of your life so that everything connected to your purpose begins to rise to the surface. You may feel as though you're in a season of internal shaking where old beliefs come up for reevaluation and old habits lose their power over you. That shaking is not a sign of instability. It is a sign of activation. God is activating dormant parts of your destiny, stirring gifts you forgot you carried, and calling forth strengths that were hidden beneath years of survival. I have walked through this kind of inner transformation myself, and each time it marked the start of a breakthrough I could not yet see. In the moment it felt like uncertainty. Later it revealed itself as alignment. Chosen one, heaven is not simply preparing you for abundance, it is preparing you to sustain abundance. Most people pray for elevation without understanding that elevation requires foundation. So God is building in you what wealth cannot buy: wisdom, discipline, discernment, purity of intention, emotional maturity, spiritual resilience. This is why you've been feeling the weight of self-reflection lately. You've been examining your patterns, your motives, your boundaries, your relationships. You've been asking deeper questions about your purpose, your direction, your priorities. This is not overthinking. It is spiritual refinement. The people who experience divine wealth are not those who want money. They are those whom heaven can trust with influence. And God is making you trustworthy. There are moments in life when God doesn't give you what you want because He is preparing you for what you are destined for. You may have felt delayed in certain areas, wondering why certain doors seem slow to open. But delay is not denial, it is development. I remember a season where every plan I tried to execute fell apart. I thought I was being blocked, but later when God elevated me into opportunities I never imagined, I understood that the delay was protection. He was shielding me from rooms I was not yet equipped to lead in. He was shaping my voice, strengthening my character, and maturing my discernment. What felt like stagnation was actually acceleration happening beneath the surface. Chosen one, the same thing is happening in your life right now. Heaven is not late, heaven is strategic. And as God aligns you Internally, He also aligns the external circumstances of your life. That is why certain things are shifting around you. Without warning, people who once held a central place in your story may begin to drift to the edges. Roles you once fulfilled with confidence may no longer resonate with your spirit. Opportunities you once chased may no longer excite you. These are signs that heaven is repositioning you. God is moving you out of circles that limit you, out of environments that drain you, out of conversations that dim your light. You are being transitioned into spaces where your voice matters, where your gifts flourish, where your presence transforms atmospheres. You are being lifted out of the ordinary to be placed among the influential chosen one. Do not misunderstand this stretching season as warfare. Sometimes what feels like resistance is simply expansion. When a vessel is enlarged, it feels pressure. When a foundation is reinforced, it feels disturbance. When a seed breaks open, it feels tension. But all of these processes prepare for growth. You may feel stretched spiritually, mentally, emotionally, but this stretching is necessary for the shift you're stepping into. Wealth requires capacity. Influence requires capacity. Purpose requires capacity. God is stretching yours so that what He releases into your life will not overwhelm you but empower you. Anointed one, I want to speak to your heart for a moment. There have been seasons where you felt unseen, unnoticed, uncelebrated. Seasons where you did the right thing and received no reward. Seasons where you poured out and nothing poured back in. But hear this with clarity. Heaven saw it all. God witnessed every sacrifice, every act of obedience, every moment you chose integrity when compromise would have been easier. These moments were recorded in the Spirit, and they are part of why you are being elevated now. Blessings do not fall randomly. They follow obedience, humility, and perseverance. You have SWN in tears, and now you are approaching the season where you will reap in joy. Chosen one. The ideas stirring in your mind right now are not coincidences. The visions returning to your heart are not nostalgia. These are divine downloads. Heaven is sending you glimpses of your future so your spirit can align with what God is building. Pay attention to the inspirations that come in quiet moments. Pay attention to the sudden clarity about things you once questioned. Pay attention to the glimpses of possibility that keep visiting your imagination. God often reveals the blueprint in pieces so that faith can build the bridge to your next level. And understand this, your life is entering a chapter where supernatural acceleration becomes normal. Things that once took years will happen in months. Things that once required striving will now flow with ease. This is not luck, it is divine timing catching up to your obedience. It is the fulfillment of promises whispered to your spirit long before you had the strength to believe them. Anointed one, you are being positioned for influence that will outlive you, for abundance that will expand beyond your personal needs, for impact that will echo into generations. And as we continue forward, the revelation will expand even further, preparing you to step fully into the wealth of wisdom and the divine authority assigned to your name. Chosen one, as we continue into this next depth of the journey, I want you to breathe and let your spirit settle into what heaven is revealing. This is not a moment of casual listening. This is a moment of spiritual awakening. You are stepping across an invisible line between who you were and who God ordained you to become. And while that transition can feel overwhelming, even disorienting, it is evidence that heaven has begun to rearrange the architecture of your destiny. You may have sensed that your thoughts are shifting, your priorities are shifting and your inner world is expanding in ways you can't fully articulate. That is because God is enlarging your spiritual territory before He enlarges your material one. I've been in seasons like that, moments where my external life low, okay, still, but spiritually, everything felt alive and electric, like heaven was working behind a veil. And later, without warning, breakthroughs appeared in the natural. What began inside eventually manifested outside. That same process is unfolding for you. Now, chosen one, the billionaire shift you are stepping into is not just a transfer of wealth. It is a transfer of identity, of authority, of responsibility. God is preparing you to carry influence in a way that transforms not only your own life, but also the lives of those connected to your destiny. That type of assignment requires inner strength. It requires a level of emotional and spiritual grounding that cannot be shaken by criticism, pressure, or sudden elevation. You are being trained to stand in rooms where the atmosphere changes because of the grace you carry. You are being conditioned to speak with authority, to move with confidence, to lead with compassion. This is not theoretical growth. This is lived formation. And heaven is guiding every step of that formation with precision. There are moments when God elevates a person publicly, but the real work happened privately. The nights you cried, but chose to trust anyway. The days you felt empty, but kept going. The seasons you felt forgotten, but remained faithful. These private victories are why heaven is now releasing public elevation. Nothing you endured was wasted. Nothing you survived was ignored. Nothing you lost will remain lost. I've lived long enough to understand that God never overlooks a faithful heart, and He never forgets a surrendered spirit. He rewards in ways far beyond human calculation. And the reward God is preparing for you is not only financial, it is generational. Anointed one. In this season you may notice divine nudges pulling your way from distractions you may find yourself uninterested in, conversations that lack depth, or relationships that lack alignment. You may feel yourself craving silence, clarity, or sacred solitude. This is because God is tuning your inner ear to His frequency. Elevation requires focus. Wealth requires strategy. Influence requires purity. And God is removing the noise so you can recognize His voice with greater accuracy. I've gone through seasons where I felt strangely detached from things that once mattered to me. At first I thought something was wrong, but later I realized God was detoxing my spirit from anything that would interfere with divine instruction. You are in that detox now, the cleansing before the clarity. Chosen one. There is a reason your spirit feels both excited and unsettled. You are standing between two identities. The old you knows how to survive. The emerging you knows how to steward. The old you learned endurance. The emerging you is learning influence. The old you feared lack. The emerging you understands overflow. You are crossing into a higher realm of purpose, and that crossing always brings internal tension. But tension is not a sign to retreat. It is a sign to rise. The presence of pressure means expansion is happening, and expansion is always the precursor to elevation. Anointed one, heaven is placing new vision in your spirit. Ideas will begin to arrive unexpectedly, as though someone is whispering inspiration directly into your mind. You may find yourself dreaming differently, bigger, clearer, bolder. You may see parts of your future in flashes, in moments of clarity that hit your heart like revelation. Don't dismiss these moments. They are. Divine previews. God often reveals the future in glimpses, so you can recognize it when it arrives. I've had ideas come to me in the quiet hours of the morning that later became life-altering breakthroughs. That same creative anointing is flowing towards you. Now, chosen one, hear me with your spirit. The environment of your life is shifting because the assignment of your life is shifting. The people God is bringing to you in this season are not casual connections. They are destiny, alignments. You may meet someone who speaks a single sentence that unlocks clarity. You may receive an unexpected message that becomes a doorway. You may encounter someone who sees in you what others never saw. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations. Whenever God elevates an anointed one, He surrounds them with those who can support, challenge, and expand their calling. In the days ahead, you may feel moments of deep peace followed by moments of deep urgency. This is not confusion. It is spiritual acceleration. Heaven moves quickly when a divine shift is activated. The momentum you feel is prophecy in motion. You are not imagining it. You are not exaggerating it. You are not hoping for something unrealistic. You are witnessing the beginning of the supernatural touching the natural. And as we continue, even deeper truths will unfold, guiding you into the fullness of what God has prepared, chosen one. As we continue into this next movement of the revelation, I want you to understand something profoundly important. Every divine elevation requires a restructuring of your inner world before it ever touches your outer world, what you are experiencing right now. The shifts in your emotions, the sudden clarity in your thoughts, the stirring in your spirit is heaven rebuilding the framework of your destiny from the inside out. This kind of internal reconstruction often feels like both unveiling and undoing at the same time. Part of you feels like you're expanding and another part feels like you're unraveling. But hear this, you are not falling apart. You are being rebuilt. You are shedding outdated identities and stepping into the upgraded heaven-designed version of yourself. If your future requires, I have lived through this in my own life where I felt God was dismantling everything familiar, not to harm me, but to create room for the extraordinary. And when the rebuilding was complete, I understood why the deconstruction was necessary. Chosen one, you are in a season where God is stretching your capacity in ways that may feel uncomfortable but are undeniably purposeful. Your spiritual muscles are being strengthened. Your discernment is being sharpened. Your intuition is being elevated. The way you see yourself is shifting into alignment with how heaven has always seen you. And while this process can sometimes feel isolating, it is actually one of the clearest signs that a major spiritual and financial elevation is coming. God hides His chosen ones when He is molding them. He pulls them away from noise, from distraction, from old patterns, and from anything that would interfere with the new identity He is forming. I've been through these seasons myself where I felt quietly pulled away from familiar people and spaces, and later I realized God was preparing me to step into new realms that required a different version of me, more focused, more grounded, more spiritually mature, anointed one. When heaven positions someone for a wealth shift, that person begins to feel a holy dissatisfaction with anything mediocre. You may have noticed this happening within you already. Things that once entertained you now feel empty. Relationships that once comforted you now feel misaligned. Habits that once distracted you now feel beneath your calling. This is the refining fire of elevation. And while others may not understand this transformation, your spirit knows it is necessary. God is setting you apart. He is calling you higher. He is preparing to entrust you with influence, resources, and opportunities that require the strongest and most aligned version of your inner self. I can tell you from experience, before the external breakthrough appeared in my life, I went through a season of intense internal stretching. And when the breakthrough came, I was grateful for every moment of preparation, because the new level demanded a different version of me. Chosen one, understand this. You are transitioning from survival into stewardship, from endurance into influence, from waiting into walking. This kind of shift cannot happen without a deep internal awakening. You may have moments where you feel more emotional than usual, or more sensitive, or more spiritually aware. This is not weakness. This is awakening. Your spirit is becoming more attuned to divine instruction. Your heart is becoming more receptive to heavenly direction. You are learning to sense when God is saying move and when He is saying wait. This spiritual sensitivity is one of the greatest gifts God gives to someone He is elevating. You may also notice in this season that God is giving you unexpected clarity about your future. Perhaps you're beginning to understand visions you once couldn't interpret. Perhaps new ideas are flowing to you effortlessly. Perhaps you feel a new boldness rising, a sense that life is calling you to step into something you once thought was too big for you. This is heaven speaking through inspiration. Whenever God prepares to shift someone into abundance, He releases creative downloads, strategies, and direction. I've had ideas appear out of nowhere, ideas that changed everything once I acted on them. You may be receiving ideas like that now. Do not dismiss them. Heaven often whispers your next step in the form of inspiration. Chosen one, the weight you've carried in past seasons is lifting. The heaviness that once sat on your spirit is dissolving. And even if you still feel some residue of old burdens, something inside you knows those burdens no longer define you. You are moving into a season where your spirit is lighter, your mind is clearer, and your heart is stronger. This inner lightness is not accidental, it is prophetic. When God prepares to elevate someone, He removes emotional clutter so they can recognize their true path. You are beginning to see yourself differently, not as someone who barely survived, but as someone who is destined to thrive. Anointed one you are, entering a chapter where divine timing will reveal itself with undeniable clarity. Appointments will align themselves. Opportunities will flow toward you. People you never expected will show up to support your vision. And doors that were once closed will open so effortlessly that you will know it was not by your strength, but by heaven's orchestration. This is what happens when someone steps into supernatural alignment. The natural world begins to reflect the spiritual world, and your spiritual world is already shifting into abundance. Chosen one, breathe this in. You are no longer preparing for the shift. You are inside the shift. And as we continue, even deeper transformation is waiting to unfold. Chosen one, as we continue deeper into this unfolding, I need you to recognize the magnitude of what heaven is doing in your life right now. You are stepping into a realm where nothing around you will look the same, because nothing within you is the same. The internal shift is already complete. The external shift is now catching up. And as this happens, you may feel a mixture of anticipation, uncertainty, and even a quiet trembling in your spirit. Not from fear, but from the weight of destiny pressing gently against your soul. This is how divine elevation begins. Not with noise, not with spectacle, but with an awakening inside you that whispers, everything is changing. I've walked through seasons like this where God began moving in ways I could sense long before I could see. And looking back, those seasons were the most sacred transitions of my life. Chosen one. One of the clearest signs that heaven has initiated your billionaire shift is the sudden acceleration of spiritual awareness. You are seeing things you once overlooked. You are hearing things you once dismissed. You are discerning things you once tolerated. When God elevates someone, He enhances their perception. You begin to see behind intentions, recognize hidden motives, understand divine patterns, and sense the difference between what is meant for you and what merely distracts you. This heightened awareness is not a burden, it is protection. God has given you eyes that see beyond the surface so that you will not sabotage your next level through old patterns or misplaced trust. I know what it feels like when discernment awakens, relationships shift, priorities change, and the things you once tolerated suddenly feel out of alignment. This is not you being difficult. This is your spirit refusing to return to environments that no longer match your destiny. Chosen one. Another sign that your elevation is taking form is the emergence of divine connections. Heaven does not allow you to step into abundance alone. God sends people who recognize your anointing, who speak life into your purpose, who bring keys to doors you thought were inaccessible. You may begin encountering people unexpectedly, individuals who offer insight, direction, or opportunity without you having to chase anything. This is divine orchestration. I've had people appear in my life at the exact moment I needed clarity or direction. They weren't just acquaintances, they were destiny aligned. Connections sent to propel me forward. You will notice these same connections forming in this season. Pay attention to the ones who speak to your spirit, not just your situation. Those are the ones heaven has assigned to walk with you. Anointed one elevation always requires a shift in the company you keep. This is why some relationships may feel strained or distant right now. Not because there is conflict, but because your spirit is stepping into a higher dimension. And not everyone is meant to rise with you. There are people who are attached to your past, but cannot accompany you into your future. And while this release can feel painful, it is necessary. I've held onto people longer than I should have. In past seasons, thinking loyalty meant proximity, only to realize God was trying to free my hands for something greater. When I finally surrendered, peace followed. You may be in that same moment where God is asking you to trust Him with what must be released so He can bring what must be received. Chosen one. You may also notice a divine boldness rising in you, a courage you didn't have before, a strength that surprises even you. This is heaven fortifying your spirit. Over the years, I've learned that God never elevates someone without first injecting them with supernatural confidence. You will feel this shift in your voice, your posture, your decisions. You will speak with more clarity. You will act with more certainty. You will carry yourself differently because you finally realize who walks with you. This boldness is not arrogance. It is alignment. It is the realization that you are not stepping into this billionaire shift by your own strength, but by divine empowerment. Anointed one, understand that divine wealth is not just financial increase, it is spiritual dominion. The shift God is placing upon your life will touch every part of who you are. It will elevate your thinking, your influence, your strategies, your relationships, your creativity, and your inner authority. You will begin to draw opportunities naturally, not through striving. You will attract resources, not chase them. This is what happens when someone moves into supernatural alignment. The world responds to what heaven has already endorsed. Doors open because your name is spoken in rooms you have never entered. Resources flow because heaven has placed a demand on your purpose. All of this is happening for you now even. If you don't see it yet, chosen one, I want to speak to the smaller, quieter part of you. The part that wonders if you are truly ready. Hear me clearly. If God has brought you to this moment, He has already equipped you for it. Growth is not about feeling ready. It is about being chosen. When God selected David, he was still in the field. When God called Moses, he felt unqualified. When God elevated Joseph, he came from a pit. Readiness is not a feeling, it is a spiritual appointment. You are appointed for this. You are trusted with this. You are aligned for this. And even if fear tries to whisper, otherwise your spirit already knows the truth. You were born for this level of abundance. Anointed one, the shift is accelerating. The signs are multiplying. The atmosphere around you is preparing to manifest what heaven has already declared. And as we continue, the revelation will deepen into what comes next and how to walk into it with authority. Chosen one, as we move into this next dimension of the message, I want you to settle into the awareness that the ground beneath your life is no longer the same. You are standing on soil that has been spiritually tilled, prepared, and saturated with divine intention. What once resisted you will now yield to you. What once felt closed will begin to open. What once seemed impossible will start bending itself toward your favor, because heaven has authorized a new season of manifestation in your life. There is a holy shift taking place. And even if you can't fully see it with your natural eyes, your spirit can already feel the tremors of change. I know this, feeling well, because every major breakthrough in my life began with an inner stirring long before anything changed externally. It was subtle, almost like spiritual static in the atmosphere, but unmistakable. You are in that same vibration now. Something internal is announcing that everything external is about to align